everybody. This section of the video tutorials will be on Baroque repertoire. So I'm looking back actually in one of the chapters on page 178 and 179. There's a beautiful piece by Alessandro Scarlatti, who is the father of the famous Domenico Scarlatti. Both of them were from the Baroque period, but his son Domenico wrote 600, almost 600 sonatas for the harpsichord, and those are very beautiful and commonly played on harpsichord concerts and piano concerts. So this is the father, and this is a dance theme, and there's many sets of variations that go with this, and if you like it you can look online and find more, but I just put one variation, which you'll see on page 179. So it's in D minor. The left hand has some voicing. You're going to hold the fifth finger down and then move. And it's always this open voicing with the root, the fifth, and the octave. Everything that we do. And there's a C in measure 4. And then in measure 5, it's just the triad. So occasionally you'll get just a triad, but generally the voicings are root, fifth, and octave. And it's nice to have this bass ringing out. It gives you that finger, what we call finger pedal, which is really common in the Baroque period because they didn't have a pedal, so they would hold the fifth finger down. And we still do that today on the modern piano. Right hand is little broken chords. C major, F major, C major, D minor, A major. So it's a good idea to go through and just block the right hand, block every position and name the chord. Notice I named the chords for the first 4 measures. I highly recommend you go through the rest of the piece and name measure 5, F major, measure 6, first inversion, C major, etc. Because you want to start thinking like a pianist, and we always think in terms of the name of that chord, because it's one thing to think of, not all those notes. And you start to sight read much more fluently and understand the structure of the piece as well, the harmonic structure. So we will put that together. I'm going to just go ahead and put it together right away, but you'll of course want to learn hand separate first. The trickiest part of this piece is right there at the cadence, just because it breaks the pattern, and anything that breaks a familiar pattern is always a little harder for the brain to process. So make sure you do some work on this fingering, 5, 3. So you'll want to just work that out, and you can use an alternate fingering. If you find a fingering that feels better to your hand, you're getting advanced enough now to work out your own fingering. But the fingering I have here is good suggested fingerings. For the variation on the next page, it's just a little running 16th notes on the first beat. So you can hear that it's the same chord progression, but with a different setup of the melodic material. What's going on in the left hand? Pretty much a similar thing. We have just the D triad to start with, and then we open the hand up. So it's very similar. So left hand's not going to be what's different. That's going to be the static component. and then the right hand is the more interesting part. So, and then it just repeats itself again at measure 23. So let's listen to, you can follow along with one hand if you like, starting on page 179. So it's a really beautiful piece. I've had many students love working on this piece, and if you get into it, go ahead and look on IMSLP and find some more variations. That make sure you're looking up Alessandro Scarlatti, not Domenico.